Hey everybody, it's Tori with Praying Hands and Walking Feet. Welcome back to our channel where we are finding our way without a compass or a map. Today, I wanted to talk to you about an experience that we had just a couple weeks ago with my youngest. He had developed a fear. And so today we're going to talk about how do we as parents, how can we help coach our kids through their fear? How can we help walk them through it to the other side so that then they're not afraid of whatever it is. Now, this I realize is not going to work for everything. It is not going to work for everyone. So please take this and mull it over and see how it fits with your family, with your children, with whatever their fear is. But I just wanted to share because it was an amazing experience to walk through this with my son and for him to see on the other side that fear doesn't control him and that he can do hard things. So he had developed a fear of escalators because he had gotten his ankle kind of bit by the bottom of the escalator. You know how it has the teeth there, the grooves, and that kind of bit his skin and it got all bloody and messy and it really hurt about a year ago. And so he never wanted to go on escalators after that. And so we just honored where he was at for a while and we would just take the elevator or take the stairs and we didn't push it. We just gave him time to, work through it. Well, we were actually Christmas shopping and we went into Kohl's and they have the escalator there. And I just got this nudge from the Holy Spirit, like, okay, he's going to do it today. I was like, okay, great. We're going to try this. So it was a day that we weren't rushed. We didn't have a bunch of things to do. It was a low-key day. We weren't homeschooling. We were on break already. So we didn't have any pressure happening that day. So we didn't have to get our shopping done quickly. So I just said, hey, why don't we go up the escalator? And he hesitated for a moment. And I said, we're all here and we can all go together. It'll be fine. I think you can do it. We can do it together. We can just step on. Well, to my surprise, it didn't take much talking and convincing to go up the escalator. And so I was like, oh, well, this is amazing. And I congratulated him and praised him and his siblings praised him when we got to the top of the escalator and told him how awesome that was and what a good job he did. And so he was feeling really good. And he said it wasn't even that bad. And I said, okay, great. Look at that. How long did you not take the escalator because you were scared? And now that you've done it, it's not a big deal. And he said, I'm really glad I did that. So great. We shopped around upstairs, did what we needed to do. And then we were coming to go back down the escalator. And he said, can we take the elevator? And I was like, no, we're not going to take the elevator today. You're ready. You've already conquered this. You've already come up the escalator. I believe in you. I know that you can do this. And we're going to do it together. Have no fear. I'm here. I'm not leaving. I'm with you. And so he backed away. And so I just honored that and let him be where he was. But slowly, like I didn't grab his hand and say, come on, let's go. You can do this. This is stupid. Because that would be demeaning. It was a real fear. He really got hurt by the other escalator that other time, like a year ago. But in my mind, why I chose to help him overcome this fear is it's kind of like riding a bicycle. If you fall down when you're learning how to ride a bicycle, what do you have to do? You have to get back up on the bicycle because the next time you're going to be better. You will have figured out the balance. You will have figured out the handlebars. But if you never get back up on the bicycle, you're going to miss out on so much that you could explore and experience by being able to ride the bicycle. And so it was not one of those big things, but it was a little thing. Like it's inconvenient for us to always have to find an elevator, especially homeschooling in the DC area. We go into DC for field trips. We take the metro. Okay, you can't always count on their elevators in the metro working. And you can't always count on being able to walk to another place where there are stairs. So this was something that I did. It was on my list. I was waiting for the opportunity to work on this with him so that then we could have some freedom and we wouldn't have to be boxed in by this fear anymore. But I did understand that it was a very valid fear. Like, he simply sat down in the store, and I didn't lose it. I didn't get mad at him, because this was a real fear, and he was showing me physically that it was hard for him to move his body toward that scary thing. And so we had to work on that. We had to talk about what part of it was he unsure about. And part of it was being a little bit afraid of heights, which we had already worked through in a different time, in a different place. We had already worked through, a fear of heights and things like that, and how they can be fun and not always scary. And so we talked about how he'd already worked past that. And now, he liked the view. And we talked about how he could look up while he was going down. You don't have to look down. We talked about standing on the same step with me. Did he want me to hold his hand? Did he want me to be on the step in front of him or behind him? What would make him feel more safe? And then I just gave him a little bit of time. And his siblings, let me tell you, they did amazing. I was so shocked. They wanted to show him that it wasn't scary, that they would be safe doing it and he would be safe doing it. So they both went down the escalator and he watched them, and then they waited at the bottom. And let me tell you, they waited at the bottom for probably 20, maybe 30 minutes while he and I worked at the top of the escalator on being able to take that first step. They didn't get impatient. They didn't get mad at him either. They just waited at the bottom. They looked at the things that were right there so that I could see them from the top. And they were so patient. And they came up once or twice to check and see, do you want us to go down with you, bud? Like, very helpful, very, very supportive. And then they would go back down when they realized that he wasn't ready yet. They went back down and they let him and I work on it together. And so finally we talked about being brave. And we talked about some characters and some people who are brave and what they have to do, and how courage isn't the absence of fear, but it's facing the fear and doing it anyway is what makes you courageous. And so we talked about how he is brave and how he is strong and how he is safe. And I gave hugs and I gave cuddles, and I reminded him that I would never ask him to do something that would harm him. I would never do anything that would make him unsafe. And so we slowly inched toward the top of the escalator, and he watched it go down, and he watched the mechanics, and he watched how soon it was until it moved and all of that. And meanwhile, while this is all taking place, there were a couple of random shoppers who we would just step to the side and let them go down. And I'd say, hey, watch them. Just watch them go down. The more people we can watch go down safely, the more you'll know that this escalator is safe and you will be safe riding it down. And so we watched, and finally I said, okay, all we have to do is take one step. We're going to do it together. We just get to take one step. That's all we have to worry about. And so he hesitated for a minute. I paused, waited for a minute, and then I said, okay, you are safe. You are brave. You are fearless. And so I said, all we have to do is just this one step. And so he was finally ready. And he took that step on the escalator, holding my hand so tight. And then he rode it all the way down. And the smile on his face at the bottom, it was worth all the time it took up at the top. All the patience, all the deep breathing from me. And I would turn my back to him and go, oh my gosh, it's just an escalator. But I kept my cool in front of him and just kept talking to him calm. And the smile and his sense of pride that he overcame that fear at the bottom was worth it all. And his siblings rushed over and they were like, that was awesome. You did great. Like, it was perfect. And then even another random lady who was shopping, who had seen us upstairs working on this probably at least 10 minutes before, she was shopping down in the downstairs area right near it. And she came over and she goes, that was awesome, bud. I saw how brave you were. And then she looked at me and gave me a wink because she saw how much patience that took. So I just want to encourage you that if your child has a fear, and it's one that you think they can work through, you as their parent are equipped to coach them. You as their parent are equipped to walk through it with them. You can do it. You do have the patience. You do have the knowledge. You do have the love. God has equipped you with all of this because He gave you these children. He knew that these fears would crop up and that you would be the one to be able to help them with it. So I would love to hear, have you had to help your child work through any fears or things like that? Have you had to help your child overcome any fears or anything like that? I would love if you would write in the comments what it was and how they overcame it. How did you help them? Because all of these tips, everything that we can share with each other just makes it better for all of us. So if you love all of these tips and tricks, please click subscribe below so that you don't miss any of our videos. Thanks for stopping by.